Hi students, how are you? I hope each one among you are doing good and well. Welcome to Supnit's classes. This is Rahmat Latif and today we are going to learn a new fresh topic of this chapter, Reproduction in Organisms. So without wasting any time, let's get started. In our previous session, we saw that mainly we have three phases in sexual reproduction. First one is pre-fertilization. In pre-fertilization, we saw that we have two types. First one is gametogenesis, that means formation of gametes, and second one is gamete transfer. Okay. In gametogenesis, we saw that formation of two types of gametes took place. First one is male gamete and another one is female gamete. Male gamete is known as sperm and the female gamete is known as ovum. Okay, we saw how this gametogenesis took place. I mean, how sperm is formed, how ovum is formed after meiosis. Okay, reductional division. I just described that in detail. If you haven't watched that video, please pause here and go and watch that video so that you will come to know how does gametogenesis took place. Okay, and we saw that we have another phase known as fertilization, and we have final phase of sexual reproduction known as post fertilization events. Okay, these are basically events. Now we will see what gamete transfer is. In this part we will discuss what gamete transfer is, what fertilization is, and what post fertilization is. Okay, so without wasting any time, we will start our new topic. Okay, what we will see what happens in gamete transfer. Basically, let's see what gamete transfer means. In gamete transfer, we just see that in most of the sexually reproducing organisms, male gamete is motile. Okay, male gamete is motile and female gamete is stationary, I mean static. Okay, at one place only. What happens in male gamete? Basically, male gamete went to the female gamete, which is actually at one place. Okay, in humans we saw it occurs through insemination when the external male genitalia inseminates inside the vagina, or we can say inside the female genital tract. Okay, through which after that fusion or fertilization took place. Great. But in some organisms, say for example like algae and fungi, you will see these both gametes are motile, male gametes and female gametes. They are both motile, and their fertilization took place outside the body, inside the water. So we can say water is the medium through which gamete transfer took place. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. And you will see in some in some organisms like simple plants, say for example algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, in those organisms also water is the medium through which gamete transfer took place. Okay, through which gametes actually pass on, and the fertilization took place there only. Okay, but you will see that in those organisms in which fertilization took place outside the body, and not only in that, you will see in internal fertilization. I will explain next what internal fertilization and what external fertilization is, but here please remember, internal fertilization means when fertilization took place inside the body, and in internal fertilization you will see what happened. Basically, in internal fertilization took inside the body, but you will always see whether fertilization took place inside the body or outside the body. You will see that male gametes produced are much larger than female gametes produced. Okay, you please remember, male gametes produced is much larger than the female gametes produced. Okay, we will see. Now we will see, it was, we were talking about animals. Now we will see what happens in plants. Basically, how does gamete transfer took place in plants? What happened basically, say for example, this is anther. Okay, male reproductive structure, and here you will see it's female reproductive structure. Okay, you will see it's female reproductive structure. What happens basically, anther forms pollen. Anther forms male gametes inside the pollen grain. Okay, here pollen grains, we have so many pollen grains inside the anther. What happens during pollination? During pollination, what happens, these pollen grains will travel to the stigma. This part of female reproductive structure is known as stigma. These pollens will through pollination, they will went to the stigma, and through stigma, through in after getting attached or stick to the stigma, pollen tube take those pollens to the ovule here. Okay, to the structure, one structure here, in which basically pollination occurs. Okay, in which pollination will occur. We will learn this in detail in second chapter of this unit. Okay, but please here remember, plants in how does gamete transfer took place? Gamete transfer took place through pollination. Okay, here gamete transfer will took place through pollination. Pollination simply means transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the another, to the stigma of the flower, female reproductive structure. Okay, now you will see that we have so many types of flowers. You will see, as I already mentioned in previous session, we have some flowers known as bisexual flowers, in which you will see that both male and female flowers are present in the same plant. In those kind of plants, what happens basically, self sorry in those plants, what happen basically, transfer of pollen grains to the stigma is very easy. Why is that easy? Because anther and stigma are closely together, they lie close to each other. Okay, but you will see in cross pollinating plants, in which anther is formed in one plant and stigma is formed in another plant, sorry, female reproductive structure is formed in another plant, you will see that it becomes very difficult, because we need we need pollinating agents which will help in pollination. Okay, we will discuss in detail what are the pollinating agents in our in our environment. We will discuss that in second chapter of this unit. Okay, now we will see what happens basically in plants. You will see that pollen grains are the carriers of male gamete and ovule have the egg. So during pollination, pollen grains will be transferred from the anther of the flower, anther of the reproductive structure, to the stigma of the another flower. Okay, through which pollination will occur, and after that we will see how fertilization took place. Okay, very nice. I hope this concept is crystal clear. After this, now we saw in plants what happens, pollination occurs, male gametes will be released near the ovule, near the egg, through pollination, and in animals we saw either insemination happen or fertilization took place outside the body, like in water, in external medium. Okay, now we will see what happens during fertilization. Fertilization is the most important period of sexual reproduction, and fertilization simply means fusion of gametes. Okay, fertilization simply means fusion of gametes, that is sperm and ovum. Okay, say for example this is sperm coming from male, okay, and this is ovum coming from female. What happens once they will fuse either inside the body or outside the body? In some organism it occurs inside the body, known as internal fertilization, and in some organisms it occur outside the body, we will call that as external fertilization. Okay, here I am saying, say for example sperm and ovum, they fuse together, they will form a structure known as zygote. Okay, and after that, since we know zygote is a single cell, okay, zygote is a single cell having chromosome number 46. Here sperm will have chromosome number 23 and ovum will have chromosome number 23. 23 and 23 will join, will fuse, they will form a structure which will contain chromosome number 46. Okay, and that structure is basically known as zygote, which is actually single cell. Okay, what happens in zygote then? Since this single cell has to get convert into multicellular organism, this unicell has to get convert into multicellular organism as we are now. Okay, but once male gamete and female gamete will fuse, they will form only one single cell, and we will discuss now how this single cell get convert into multicellular organism. Basically what happens in this zygote, two processes will take place. First is cell division, and this type of cell division is mitosis. Okay, mitosis simply means equational division. Okay, mitosis simply means equational division. When division took place, equational division, I mean if this is 46, if this structure is bearing 46 chromosomes, after mitosis the other cells which are forming inside our body, forming through this structure, will also contain 46 chromosomes. It won't get reduced, it won't form 23 chromosomes only. Okay, please remember this type of reduction is mitosis, but the reduction which is taking place during gamete formation is known as meiosis, known as reductional division. Okay, one process will phase will occur known as cell division and another known as cell differentiation. I mentioned what happens in cell division. In cell division, this type of cell division is mitosis, and in mitosis you will see what you will see. You will see that in this cell division, what happens actually, what happens basically in mitosis. Different type of mitosis will occur, cell division will occur, through which chromosome number will remain same 46, and cell differentiation means that we will arrange the cells, that it's the capability of zygote that it will arrange the cells accordingly. Okay, so two type of processes will occur, cell division and cell differentiation. I hope this concept is clear. Okay, but as I already mentioned, we have two types of fertilization. First one, we have internal fertilization, and another one we have external fertilization. Internal fertilization simply means that type of fertilization which occurs inside the body of an organism. External fertilization means outside the body of an organism. Okay, outside the body. In internal fertilization, we have example of human beings. In external fertilization, we have example of fishes, frogs. Okay, in human beings, fertilization took place inside the body, okay, through insemination. We are going to learn this in detail in human reproduction. Okay, but in human beings we have exception. Okay, what kind of exception we have in human beings? We have exception of IVF, in vitro fertilization. Okay, what happens in vitro fertilization? Fertilization took place outside the body. We are again going to discuss that in detail in human reproduction. Okay, here you remember internal fertilization took place inside the body of an organism. Say for example, we have human beings, we have so many animals which in which fertilization took place inside the body. Say for example cats, say for example dogs. Okay, in external fertilization you will see outside the body, like fishes and frogs. Okay, and where does this fertilization took place? Here it will took place in water. Syngamy. Fertilization is also known as syngamy. Please remember, it's also known as syngamy. Okay, so fertilization is mainly of two types: internal fertilization, external fertilization. Internal means inside the body, external means outside the body. I gave you examples, and as I already mentioned that in this fertilization or in syngamy, what happens basically, what happens actually, these type of gametes, these type of what we can say, these type of fertilization took place either inside the body or outside the body, and external fertilization mainly took place outside the body, usually in water. As I give example of fishes and frogs, it will fertilization will took place inside the water. Okay, and you will see that as I already mentioned, male gametes are produced much more than female gametes produced. Okay, and as I already mentioned, in seed plants what will happen, pollination will occur, and through pollination anther will form pollen grains. Inside the pollen grains we have male gamete. Through pollination, through pollinating agents, those pollens will travel to will get transferred to the stigma of the reproductive structure, and through pollen tube will carry those male gametes to the ovule or the egg. Okay, nearer that. Now we are clear with fertilization. We will see post fertilization events. Post fertilization events are those events in sexual reproduction, which kind of events are those, when once the zygote is formed through fertilization, after that we have so many events known as embryogenesis, in which we will call that post fertilization event simply is the formation of zygote. Okay, the process after the formation of zygote, that we call as post fertilization events. First of all, we will see zygote. Zygote is actually diploid in nature. As I already mentioned, gametes are haploid, having only 23 chromosomes, but in zygote you will see that they are diploid. They will contain 46 chromosomes. Okay, very nice. So we say that an external fertilization zygote will be formed outside the body. Okay, outside the body, and an internal fertilization zygote will be formed obviously inside the body, because fertilization took place inside the body of the organism. Okay, very nice. See, further development of zygote will took place. As I already mentioned that two phases will occur: cell division and cell differentiation. Okay, in order to form embryo. Okay, that process is known as embryogenesis. I hope this concept is clear. In cell division, I told you about mitosis, which is actually equational division, that the chromosome number of cell won't get reduced, it will remain same, equal to the 46, and through cell differentiation cells get arranged accordingly. Very nice. You will see in some organisms, say for example fungi, algae, zygote develops a thick wall. Okay, outside it's a kind of covering. Why it contains that covering? In order to protect itself. See, in internal fertilization, zygote lies inside the organism, so it's completely safe. It's almost completely safe than those organisms which are whose post fertilization events or fertilization event took place outside the body, because they are most vulnerable to the predators. But if we will talk about humans, since the zygote is inside the womb of the mother, so they are very safe, you know, as compared to the those organisms in which fertilization took place outside the body. Great. You will see that, as I mentioned, I am saying zygote, zygote, zygote. So can't we say that zygote, zygote is the basically structure which ensures the continuity of species. Okay, that's the kind of a link, that's the kind of link which ensures the continuity of species. Say for example, zygote won't develop, zygote won't fusion won't occur. Can't we say that after fertilization, after gametogenesis, despite being gone through pre-fertilization events, gametogenesis, gamete transfer, zygote is still not forming. So generation won't continue, okay, species won't continue. That's why we say that zygote is the link, base vital link, okay, which ensures the continuity of species between organisms of one generation and the next. Okay, every organism, okay, no matter how complex we are, how complex we human beings are, we just start our life with zygote, a single cell. Okay, very nice. In embryogenesis, you will simply say, we can simply say, sorry, in embryogenesis, you will simply see what happens. Basically, embryogenesis simply means development of zygote. Once the development of zygote would take place, we will call that as embryogenesis. It's the process of development of embryo, okay, sorry, it's the development of embryo, since zygote will undergo two processes, cell mitosis, cell division and cell differentiation. Okay, so we can say the development of embryo from zygote, that is known as embryogenesis basically. Okay, I already mentioned what cell division is, what kind of cell division will take place. It will occur mitosis, not meiosis. Please remember, please note this. And what happens basically, zygote will also undergo cell differentiation. Okay, very nice. We have categorized animals into oviparous and viviparous. Oviparous are those organisms basically which will lay eggs. Egg laying animals are known as oviparous, and in viviparous you will say that they include mostly mammals, okay, in which young ones are produced inside the body of female organism. Oviparous are egg laying organisms, viviparous are mostly mammals in which young ones are developed inside the body of the female organism. Okay, and as I already mentioned, in viviparous, embryonic development is proper. Okay, and we can say that in viviparous zygote, young ones are mostly safe, rather than in the organisms in which fertilization took place outside the body, externally. Okay, in viviparous you will see that proper embryonic development will take place, but in organisms in which external fertilization will take place, you will see that in those organisms what happens, they are mostly vulnerable to predators. Okay, this happens in external fertilization. Great, I hope this concept is clear. And you saw that in flowering plants the zygote is formed inside the ovule. Since fertilization will take place there, zygote will be formed inside the ovule, and after fertilization what will happen? Ovule will get convert into seed, and ovary of the flower will get convert into the, sorry, you will see that ovary will get convert into fruit. Okay, please remember, ovule will get convert into seed, ovary will get convert into the fruit. This was all about, post fertilization events. This was all about gamete transfer. This was all about fertilization. I hope this concept is clear, but I'm again saying that please do make notes after watching the video or during the video, whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, because I want you guys to crack Neet in very first attempt. I just want you guys to, get qualified in boards with flying colors. Okay, so please remember that once you are watching these videos, please do make notes accordingly. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. So here we just end up with this chapter known as Reproduction in Organisms, the first chapter or the first unit of class 12th. Okay, it will help obviously in Neet as well as in boards. So please go through these notes. I just make these PPTs here, go through them, make notes accordingly, make notes as per you, make what we call that as flow charts, so that you will remember before examination. You don't have to check all the notes, you will just see those mind maps, you will just saw these those kind of flow charts, and you will quickly remember all the things. Okay, so we are done with this chapter. I hope this concept is clear. If anybody who hasn't watched my previous videos, go and watch them. Do share with your friends, do share with those who are preparing for Neet, do share with your juniors, do share with your seniors. Okay, so that it will help you and them as well. We'll meet you in any other session, in any another session. Till then, goodbye, take care, bye bye, thank you.